Well, hello, and thank you so much for joining us for what is a very important and exciting conversation. My name is Liam Nixon. I work for Global News here in Lethbridge, but for the purpose of this conversation, I stand here as a very proud board member and the secretary for the Chinook Sexual Assault Center. I'm joined by four leaders in southern Alberta in this specific field. To my extreme left, we have Catherine Pooley. She's the manager for the Lethbridge City Police Victims Witness Services. Sitting next to her, we have Tracy James, the interim CEO for YWCA Lethbridge and District. To my immediate right, we have Adonis Arlette. She is the manager for RCMP Lethbridge Corridor Victim Services Unit. And then to my extreme right is Christine Cassie, who is the CEO of the Chinook Sexual Assault Center. And if we look down a little bit, we have Marley joining us today in all of her excitement. It was in my contract to do this today that she had to join us, so I'm glad that end of it was upheld. She's actually one of Adonis's facility dogs, and we're very happy she's here to join the aura here today. Coming up the week of November 14th to 20th, it's what's known as Victims and Survivors of Crime Week across the country, and of course that includes southern Alberta. It's with a grant from the Government of Canada that we're able to do this video presentation for you today. The victim serving agencies here in Lethbridge, the exciting part of this, they've entered into what's known as a Memorandum of Understanding, or an MOU. So that includes the YWCA Amethyst Project, you have the Lethbridge Police Service Victim Witness Services, the RCMP Rural Corridor Victim Services, and of course the Chinook Sexual Assault Center. Christine, we'll begin with you. Why did you develop this Memorandum of Understanding? Where did it come from?
Well, first off, all four of our agencies receive funding through Victims of Crime with the province of Alberta, and we were approached by them to actually work on the very first Memorandum of Understanding in the province for victim service units. Part of this is to make sure that we can have fluid services for victims of sexualized violence, so that we can build collaboration within our region and actually improve upon services by doing things like having joint training initiatives, ways that we can leverage our skills and knowledge and support each other. As one can imagine, knowing the rates of sexual violence in our community or communities across this province, there's no shortage of work this way, which is really sad. But we did recognize four areas of common ground for our four agencies, and those include survivor empowerment, the importance of actually putting people first and being person-centered in our approach so that they can regain their autonomy following a sexual assault, social justice so that we can actually challenge oppression and rape myths, and we can actually look at the intersectionality that actually contributes to other issues within our world. Collaborative practices, so again, looking at ways that we can foster respect through strong leadership, through our partnerships and engaging those with lived experiences in our work. And again, excellence of service. It's important for us not to just rest on our successes of the past, but to really look forward on what those skill levels are that our volunteers, our staff need to gain, how we can actually press forward in addressing issues in our community and really look at our work and be able to talk really openly with one another so we can address if there are concerns that are coming forward. Again, putting that person in the center of that so that we can move forward strong.
Okay. Adonis, from the RCMP side of things.
It's really nice to be able to reach out and collaborate with external organizations because, as you can appreciate, our security is high with the RCMP, like most police organizations. So having this understanding gives us the opportunity to collaborate, like Christine said, and really put the individual at the center of their process.
Tracy or Catherine?
I agree. I think for us, we also need to have more resources for victims as well as survivors. And so having all of us sitting in one room, being able to say, hey, I know that there's somebody there that can help you as well, is very, very empowering for an individual.
So for Tracy, from the YWCA side of things, why develop this Memorandum of Understanding?
I believe it is really important so that individuals have more choice. They have more options for service, and we as a collective can also reach out to each other and provide service for individuals, as this is a very difficult road to walk.
Yeah, I think it's genuinely an honor to be with people in the moments as they're going through this really incredibly challenging process. So the capacity to work together and ensure that we can pave a pathway that works best for that individual, make sure that all resources are working on the same page to be able to support someone most effectively, it just makes it so much easier to meet the needs of the people that are coming forward, which is our first concern from every agency.
Okay, and we'll just kind of throw it open to everyone now. So how does this memorandum of understanding benefit those who have been personally impacted by sexual assault?
So no one jumps in, so I'll jump in. So really, a really powerful part of this from our agency is the power of choice and the gaining of autonomy for a victim. Although there's some similarity between our services, people need to have that choice of who they want, maybe in the police and court support process. They may find that there's strengths that are offered from the YMCA or from the rural corridor and some other services that they want from us. But it's really important that they be put in the driver's seat and really guide the process of what they want to see happen and where they want to go. And this is part of them regaining that, again, that autonomy when everything's been taken from them through the sexual assault.
And the beauty of this is it allows a fluid process. So individuals change their mind or their needs change, and this allows that fluid process for them to access services in and out when it works for them.
Well, and I think we have to recognize that we're dealing with people, we're not dealing with robots, right? So connections are built in different ways and in different times. So while there may be a connection to one service, you may find you have a personal connection with someone who's offering a similar type service. So being able to really meet the needs of that person and what serves them best through their healing allows us the opportunity to work collaboratively and keep that forefront.
And Tracy?
Absolutely, and I do believe that too, working collaboratively means that there's more people in the room if that's what the individual needs. And so it could be all four of us in the room, really, if that's what that person needs.
Okay. And Tracy, maybe we'll stick with you for the next one. On the flip side of thing, how does it benefit your specific agency, the YWCA of Lethbridge and District? How does it benefit the agency side to have a memorandum of understanding?
It definitely deepens our relationships with each other. The collaboration, leveraging resources and training and skill development. It works very well for all of our staff, and we all have something unique to give as well. It's transparent. We also have an opportunity to own our own deficiencies if we have them. It's a commitment to improvement of practice and to ensure quality service provision. And we're an equal partner in the working group, which is very, very exciting. And it's accessible and reliable in a working collaborative with each partner as a group. We can align agencies. There's an alignment with agencies, promotion and common goals, fostering respect between the services as well, developing best practices, and assisting in cross-training if we have things to give each other.
Yeah, I think it really shows a commitment from all of us to make sure that the work being done is being done well, and that we are going to continue to find what our best practices are. In our particular agency, at Victim Services at Lethbridge Police, we have access to certain information from the Crown Prosecutor or through the investigation that some of our partner agencies may not have. And if we have consent of the individual that we're working with and it's appropriate in the steps of the investigation, we're able to share some of those details so that the individual's needs are always going to be our driver, and we're making sure that everyone is informed to the best possible level to be able to meet those needs.
Okay. Adonis, Christine?
Go for it, Karen. Yeah, okay. I think also from the four agencies, there is an absolute commitment to having trauma-informed care and practices in our agencies. That is exceptionally important to all of us. So we've actually undergone things like an assessment to see how our agency is responding to trauma-informed care with those that we serve and with our staff group. It's really that broader connection to the community as well for access and advocacy for services for those that we are here to support. And I think most importantly, I mean, we always talk about people want to be transparent, which sometimes becomes this go-to word that you can slap on a poster and everyone has to believe that you're transparent. we really have embedded that within the culture of this group, that we want to be able to have those honest conversations that sometimes are difficult. Sometimes we have to be very courageous to have those conversations, because we expect that people might not do what they need to do, or there may be a step missed, or there may be something that happens, because everyone is human that's here. So we can have those conversations, manager or leader to leader in any one of these organizations, to be able to address where some of that is and look at how we can help each other to move to that next step. And so we really want to make sure that that is, you know, a cornerstone of what we're doing, so that it's always about improving and providing the best possible service to someone.
Right, really that professional
Mhm.
development and accountability piece is big between us all. And us being able to offer services outside of our own mandates by giving that referral and knowing that we have this trusted relationship and knowing the services that we're referring to is a big benefit for the individuals we serve.
Okay. There is obviously a common goal here between the four of you, but each of your agencies is unique in its own way. So maybe let's highlight some of those uniquenesses between each of the organizations. Whoever would like to take that one first.
I can, sure. So, Amethyst Project is very unique in its being able to deliver a third option to individuals that have been sexually assaulted. We are a 24-hour service, so we are able to go into the hospital when just after this has happened and be that person that's there supporting through the process. We also offer, you know, follow-up services as well, and we can be a part of the process no matter what options they choose. So that's really unique to us. We're the only agency in a very long ways that offers this service as a third option.
For Lethbridge Corridor Victim Services, we also offer 24-hour crisis call-out service. We have a 24-hour crisis line where individuals can access our service. We liaison with the police, obviously, but something unique, like Liam had said, was our facility dog program. So individuals who are nervous or anxious can have a silent companion sit with them in the facility dog while they give police interviews or have to go talk to other partnership organizations or go to the courts.
For the Chinook Sexual Assault Center, we are solely focused on sexual violence. And so our uniqueness is that is our service. We don't do 24-hour call out. I'm actually very appreciative of my of my colleagues here that they do that. But we provide the range of services from crisis management to system navigation to counseling to peer support groups. But it is specialized, specific for sexual violence.
Thank you.
So we run a volunteer-based program. We do have some paid staff at our office, but primarily it is volunteer-driven. And those people are just remarkable members of our community that have chosen to come forward, learn about how to support someone in those moments, and can offer that 24/7 response should the police require us. So we're called out directly by the Lethbridge Police in the event that there is an opportunity for us to support someone. And one of the real benefits of this MOU has been being able to learn from the other agencies, because some of the people that work in these other agencies are just remarkably well-trained and well-skilled. So to be able to take that and transfer that to our volunteers has been a wonderful asset, to know that any time of the day when we get called out, we have someone that can be trusted and can be beside you. And then we can walk through that entire process as we navigate the investigation and the court system. We have a separate court support worker who can be there with you, and developed a really wonderful working relationship with the Crown Prosecutor to ensure that we are able to keep you involved and informed of your entire process. So that's sort of where we have our moment.
Okay. Catherine, you use that word benefit. This is a fairly early on in the process for the MOU, but already there's some benefits, but also some accomplishments already this early on. So I'm hoping that, again, open floor for whomever would like to take this first, but some of the early accomplishments that you're already seeing because of this MOU.
I think we've already seen the opportunity to apply for some grant funding. We've been able to work through some things together. Collaboratively, we're able to approach a little bit more than if we were to work individually, and we can accomplish a whole lot more when we work collaboratively. So accessing that grant funding and using it to the benefit of our entire community rather than a unique subsection has been one of the first and foremost benefits I've seen.
I think with that, we've also become the model for the province around how victim services and sexual assault centers and other unique services like the YWCA can come together and create this MOU. So we have been approached by other areas of the province of, can we see your MOU because we need to start working on this, and how do you collaborate? And so I think that's something that really speaks well to our organizations and being able to come together. We also, in our first meeting, we identified where some areas are that might need some other boost in this area. There was a federal grant that was out for legal services to provide for someone to apply to, but you had to be like a legal guidance center. So we actually approached Lethbridge Legal Guidance about their willingness to actually go forward and making that application for service to sexual violence victims. And they have made that application, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed that that's going to come through.
And in the interest of being fiscally responsible and not having to apply for grants or use money that we already have, we will support each other and piggyback on trainings and things that we have for our staff and volunteers.
Tracy?
We've kind of covered
I
most of
think
it.
we covered it,
Yeah.
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 But I think it brought us all together. That is one of the
Yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
benefits, is because, especially during COVID, everybody worked in silos. And I know that I've been able to talk to these ladies more and see these agencies flourish now more than ever. So, and I think for me, that is one of the greatest things, because we used to have that, and then we had a pandemic. So I am really excited that this is going forward.
And because of our trusted relationship, it's really given us the opportunity to offer fluid services and shared services to individuals. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just court support is only done by victim services. It can be done by the Sexual Assault Center, or it can be done by the YWCA. So that really gives us leverage in ensuring everybody is served in our community.
And even though, I'm just going to add, sort of a free flow here, but even though we all have to submit our data to the province to qualify why we exist and why we need the funding to do these services, we recognize that it's not just about the numbers going on the page, it's really about that quality of service going forward. And I think that's what helped us to move to that next level. So it's not so much about the egos, although I do have one. It's not about the egos, it's about how we're really doing what we've all committed to in our careers, about helping others and putting the person in the center that needs that service so that we can fulfill that.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So many times when you're applying for grant funding or when you're working in this sort of sector, statistics become the driver. But I think the nice thing is, through an MOU that we've created here, the people are really what's driving us, as opposed to our statistics, as opposed to those things. The numbers are there, but the people that we're serving are the ones that really are the focus now, which is great.
Okay, and with that people focus, let's look kind of into the future. Obviously, this isn't something where you're going to have a couple of meetings and then go your separate ways and hope all goes well. What are some of the short, medium, long-term hopes in terms of what you hope to achieve moving forward with the Memorandum of Understanding?
Anybody want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Well, I think it's really the advancement of best practices and using our connections. All of us here are members also of the Sexual Violence Action Committee, and so we're pushing things on that table as well. So the issues around human trafficking in our area, the issues of, are we truly trauma-informed services? Are we truly living those practices, and how are we doing that? And so it's about challenging internally as well as externally about what we are delivering to the public. And so I think this group has a lot of, I guess there's a lot of momentum right now to continue that work, and so I think that's what's exciting me the most.
And I think too that just the continued respect, dignity, transparency for individuals as well is really the forefront of what we want for all individuals that are experiencing sexual violence.
And we're committed to the longevity of community partnerships and ensuring that this document isn't going to be stagnant, that it's fluid, it can grow and change. So, you know, we're meeting on a regular basis and reviewing it at least annually to update it and change it as individuals in our community needs.
Yeah, and as Adonis says, many hands make light work. There's a lot of work to be done in this field. There's a lot of opportunity to work to support the people that have already experienced this trauma, but also on a preventative level. So as we work together, I think we have the capacity to do more when we're all on the same page, pushing in the same direction, rather than all responding from our own corners. And that allows us to make a difference in the future of sexual violence as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much to all four of you for joining us today. We certainly appreciate it, Catherine, Tracy, Adonis, and Christine. It's one of those things that you wish individually and collectively we didn't need these services in real life because of the obvious, but the reality is they are much needed in Southern Alberta and everywhere else. It's good to know that we have these four agencies individually and coming together doing such amazing work on behalf of people impacted by sexual assault and sexual violence. So thank you very much to all four of you. A reminder that the week of November 14th to 20th across the country, of course that includes our little slice of it here in Southern Alberta, is Victims and Survivors of Crime Week across the country. So keep that in mind. And if you have any questions about any of this or anything that wasn't discussed here, please feel free to reach out to any of the organizations represented here today. We'll have some of their contact information on the screen. Thank you so much for being with us.